All right, everyone. Hello, good afternoon. I'm so glad you guys could join us. This is the second part to our two-part series for social media. So a couple weeks ago, YPN hosted a tune-in event where I taught for social medias for beginners, and now I'm teaching social media for more intermediate, more advanced information. So for those of you that missed the first training, go ahead and you can actually ask me questions about it. I can kind of reteach a little bit just to get you to this next step of more intermediate. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Can I just get a head nod that you guys can see the screen with my presentation? Okay, perfect. All right, let's take it away. So the first topic of conversation we're going to go over today are the guidelines for posting other agents' listings, specifically on social media. So this has come up a lot. The board office gets a lot of questions about this, and obviously we're constantly seeing other agents post other agents' listings, and we just want to make sure that we know the exact parameters and all the guidelines to abide by to properly do this when we're all following the rules. So let's jump to the next one. Cool. So TCAOR MLS guidelines state the following. Listing attribution, all IDX listing displays shall identify the name of the listing firm and the name of the listing agent in a manner designed to easily identify such listing firm or agent. Such identification shall be in a reasonably prominent location and provide clear, conspicuous written or verbal identification of the name of the listing firm and listing agent. So kind of in a mouthful, that's just basically saying you have to identify the listing agent and the listing brokerage. Okay. So I also decided to speak to CAR Legal Hotline about this. Perfect. So CAR also had some guidelines. They're a little bit less strict than our MLS rules, and the MLS has committee and our within the board office, we've kind of talked a little bit about, do we want to add more rules? Do we want to add more guidelines? But CAR makes it really, really simple for us. So the very first thing they say is we need to get permission from the listing agent to advertise and share their listing. And they recommend getting this in writing. So if you are going to share someone's listing, it's really good of you to shoot a text out to them, to shoot an email out to them, some kind of a written form that you're asking permission to share that. That just really covers your basis based on what CAR attorney guidelines state. And then the second one is that when you do share and post that listing, you need to clearly disclose that it is not your listing and you are not the listing agent. So once again, kind of piggybacking off of what the MLS guidelines state, that it needs to be very clear and conspicuous that it is not your listing, you are not the listing agent. So the staff at TCAOR gets tons of questions about this. So I went ahead and asked for some FAQs, some frequently asked questions, so that I could share it with you guys and give you guys a little bit of a question answer prompt. So the first question is, can I use the share button link to advertise other agents' listings? So on the MLS, when you log in, there is a share button option when you're on other agents' listings. So the answer is yes. Property links meant for public viewing that was generated from the MLS would meet the IDX listing attribution requirement listing, because the listing agent and office attribution is displayed at the bottom of the link page. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with this feature, when you do share out a listing, it is going to designate who the listing brokerage is and who the listing agent is. So this does meet the IDX guidelines. The next question is, it's a little slow, don't worry, it's okay, it's a little slow, we're getting there. Do I have to include the listing agent / office information if there isn't enough character text room in the online advertisement? The answer is still yes. Listing attribution is still required. If the advertising platform is text limited, which this is very common for Twitter, Twitter is character limited, then the advertisement must include a link that would take the viewer to a detail sheet with the listing agent office prominently displayed. So just letting you guys know, if you're using social media platforms that are character specific, such as Twitter, just make sure that you include a link so that the viewers are taken to the page that clearly displays it is not your listing and you are not the listing agent. Next question is, why is it that I don't have to include the listing agent's information when I send a listing sheet directly to a client? So for a lot of us, we use the MLS client portal when we set up our clients when they're getting those auto property alerts. So this is kind of what that question's talking about. When we're sending those auto property alerts to our clients, it's not really designating that it's us. it's actually designating that, or it is designating that it's us. We have our marketing information on the bottom with our name, our brokerage, our email. But the answer to that question is there is a difference because you have established a client agent relationship with this person, hence the email directly from your portal, which is the other one is not. So if you're just cold sharing a listing from another agent, you have to make sure to meet the IDX listing guidelines. But if you have a relationship with an agent that, or with a client that you've put into the client portal and you're auto sending them property alerts with the detail sheets that has your information for your marketing purposes, that's okay because you do have an agent relationship with them. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about sharing other agents' listings? Because I'm going to jump into another topic. I just want to make sure I hit any questions. Maggie, do we have anything in the chat?
No, no questions so far.
Okay, perfect. If anyone—
I do have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Kevin, of course, go ahead.
So you mentioned that if we were sharing privately a client detail from the portal on the MLS, is it necessarily that we would have to have a prior executed agency relationship to do that? Is that important?
No, because great question. That is a really good question. So the question is, does it mean that you have to have an actual executed buyer agent agreement in order to be able to send those detail sheets? The answer is actually no. Once someone has agreed to give you their contact information, you have their permission to send them listings. Now, of course, brokerage to brokerage, it's going to be a little different on how hard they push that buyer agreement. Of course, I recommend getting that for every one of your clients. It just protects you and keeps your business really official. But for that question, the answer is no. You don't have to have a fully executed agreement. You can add anyone to your client portal and generate those detail sheets to them.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions about that before we jump into this next topic? Okay, perfect. So for those of you that may have followed my training throughout last year and this year, I teach a lot about having two different accounts, your personal account and your business account. So I teach a lot on how to generate a Facebook business profile as well as an Instagram professional account. Recently, which I found out the hard way during my last training, Facebook actually did a major update to the business pages on its portal. So some of the big changes I'm going to show you here, but I'm just going to highlight a couple of them really quick. So the first thing that Facebook did was they allowed your business profile to now be its own identity, where it can follow other pages, it can follow other people, and now it has a news feed for those that you follow, you see what they've posted. So on your individual personal page, you can have your friends and you can see your news feed from what they're posting, and then on your business page, you can have the people that you follow that you'll see their posts specifically. So this is a really cool feature. Facebook just wanted to give more identity to a business page and have the business page act more as its own independent profile. So that's really great. And it's also really awesome for branding and networking because now you can use your business page to follow other businesses and other people that you really want to be eyeballs on your page. So we're going to jump in really quick. So I've screenshotted the desktop version of the new updates. I always tell people Facebook is a lot easier to use on your computer or laptop. Instagram is easier to use on your mobile app. I really don't know why it is this way, but being in social media for so long and having to use both platforms, it's just a lot easier to navigate Facebook on a desktop or a laptop. So I'm showing you screenshots from my computer here just so you can see the differences and help you guys navigate. So when you first log into your personal page and you've clicked on your business page, this is what you're going to see. It's going to give you an option in the middle of the screen to switch to your business page. So that's going to be the first thing that you're always going to want to do when you want to go in and maintain, manage, and mess around with your business page. So now once you've switched, a little icon is going to pop up in the corner. It's going to say you have now switched to your business names page. You're on it. You're operating as this page. So that will help tell you that you've clicked on it correctly. And now you're in there navigating as your business page's identity. So last training, I was trying to teach everyone how to navigate this business page, but because of the update, it kind of threw me off a little bit. So I just want to touch on a few things. So when you guys go in and you create your business pages, I always recommend that you take it from A to Z. Add your photo, add your cover photo, add your about page, link your website, go A to Z when you create your page so you don't have to go back later and make any edits. However, for those of you that want to change or update things as you go, or for those that did not finish it and need to go back, I'm going to show you a few navigating tools. So the first one here is your profile picture is going to appear in a small circle in the center of the screen. Right next to it is a camera icon. When you click on that, you're able to upload a new profile photo or change a profile photo from previous photos you uploaded. So it will show you some options. Also, there's a feature on Facebook called the photo frame. So we actually created one for TCAOR's 100th year celebration, the centennial. So if you want to add a profile picture with a profile frame, then this is where you're going to do it. You're going to click on that picture and follow the prompts to add a frame. This is the edit cover photo. So once again, I always recommend that while you're generating your page, you already have this displayed, you already have this done. If you ever need to edit it, change it, or update it in any way, this is where you're going to do it. So it's just click on that and it's just going to take you to your options where you can upload a new cover photo or you can select one from any that you've previously uploaded. This in the center is your bio or your about section. So either way you can name it, it's going to be the same. So this is basically, this is character sensitive. This is a very small portion of that you can text. There's not a lot of room here. So what I always like to tell people is put in here exactly what your service is. Make it short and sweet and to the point. So when people pull this up, they're going to see exactly who you are, what you do, and there's no questions. I don't recommend putting a quote. I don't recommend putting any like short slogan. Try to keep it to where you're designating yourself in your business. And then I put value, respect, integrity, because those are my 3 pillars for like my moral code for my business. But I've designated myself as a realtor. So a couple other navigation things that are fairly new to this Facebook update. So this promote button is going to appear. So this one's really big. So this opens all of your advertising options. For those of you that are curious about advertising on Facebook and promoting your business within, this is actually a really great place to start. And you can also click around, play around, and see what options are there for you. So in here, you can promote your page specifically by generating an ad. You can also boost a post specifically by generating an ad. Or you can grow your engagement and get more website clicks. You'll see on the screen here that on the left-hand side, it says intro. And underneath that, it just has all the specs of my page. My website is linked here. So if I ever wanted to get more website clicks, there is a specific way to promote the website from within my Facebook business page that Facebook offers me through this promote option. So we're actually going to talk about linking your website in just a second, but that's the promote option for all advertising. This manage option here, which you can see the tools, there's like a wrench and a screwdriver. This opens your page options. So you can see your insights in your analytics, and this is a really big one. For those of you that are just getting started with your page, you're not going to see a lot of data in your insights and analytics, but after a few months of posting, I recommend that you go in and really check this out. This is going to tell you how your posts are doing, how your hashtags are performing, and your audience members when they're looking at your post, and if they're actually engaging with your post with likes and comments and shares. So this is a really good one. You want to be able to open up your insights, your analytics, and check this out over time to make sure that your business page is performing well and all your posts are relevant and getting audience engagement. And then there's also a page overview option, which just goes over basically everything about your page and all of the other, there's some editing settings options in there. And then this other little button here with 3 dots in a row is your page menu options. So here you can add to your story. Of course, on a desktop, it's not as easy. So I do recommend utilizing your phone's app for stories. You can also go into your page and tagging settings, which is great because you want to make sure that you allow some people to tag you for business promotion and branding, but you also want to make sure that you're kind of strict in your rules with who can do what and what type of engagement can happen on your page without your acknowledgement and without your permission. So just make sure you play around with those settings. And then also activity log, which shows you what you've posted and how well it's done, just specific to the post. It's kind of like a really quick overview of an analytics, but it's just quick information that you scroll through. It's not as in-depth as your insights. And then this I actually bolded because this says switch to classic pages. So for those of you that do want to do this upgrade through Facebook for your business page, I do recommend doing it, play around with it. Like it. If you don't like it and you decide you want to switch back, that's actually where you're going to do it. Go to these 3 dots and one of the options toward the bottom says switch to classic pages. So just in case this is really not something you want to do, you like the old format better, you can always go back. Okay, so before I move on to this next topic, are there any questions about navigating the new business page through Facebook's update? Perfect. Okay. If you do have any questions, put it in the chat. So we're going to talk about linking your website now, because as I mentioned, there is a way that you can promote within Facebook to get more clicks on your website. And you also want to make sure it's linked just so that any new audience members or existing audience members have quick access to your website. So once again, I'm inside my business page. I've switched over to be able to actively edit this. So now I'm going to see on the left-hand side, as I mentioned earlier, there's that intro section. Towards the bottom, there's an edit details option. You're going to want to click on that. Perfect. So then another menu bar is going to pop up, and towards the bottom, they're going to see the word websites. And then it's going to have a little globe and the word public. You can change this should you not want it to be public, but of course, I always encourage that you do have it public so everyone can get engagement to it. And then underneath that is a little pencil for editing. When you click on that, you're able to type in the URL or the website name of your website, and then you're going to click save. And it's going to link your website to your Facebook. And again, I do recommend keeping that public. So now we're going to talk about linking your accounts. Next one. So I always recommend that you link Facebook to Instagram and you link Instagram to Facebook. So I'm going to show you how to do that so they can communicate. So Facebook to Instagram looks like this. We've gone in, we've hit edit details. We're on the same menu screen that we just were to manipulate the website. And now we're clicking on the very bottom left-hand side that says update your information. From here, you're going to select contact and basic info. And here you're going to see it says websites and social links. So you're going to want to click the pencil and insert your Instagram name. Now you can either do the handle of your business or your name, which in my case, my Instagram page is Sale by Victoria, but you can also utilize the option of www.instagram.com/ and then your name or handle as it's referred to. So there's a couple different ways to do it, but it's very user-friendly and it should be as quick and painless as that. So now let's talk about Instagram to Facebook. I always recommend utilizing Instagram on your phone. So the screenshots you're going to see right now are from my mobile device. So I've logged into Instagram on the smartphone app. And here what I'm going to do is select the top 3 horizontal lines. We call that the hamburger. The next page that's going to pop up is a right-hand side menu is going to appear. On the bottom right, we're going to select settings with the circle, or we call that the hula hoop. Then from here, all the way to the left, you're going to see account options pop up. So you're going to select sharing to other apps, and then you're going to go Facebook. Of course, you can link other profiles, but we're just talking about Facebook and Instagram. So under account, sharing to other apps, Facebook, and then this on the far right-hand side, this is what's going to appear. And it's going to, if it's already linked, it's going to show you that it's linked. If it's not, you're going to say link or yes. And then over time, if you ever want to change it, it will give you the option to change and update should you ever update your business profile on Facebook and you want to make sure they're communicating. And then just click continue. So that is how to link Facebook to Instagram and Instagram to Facebook. Does anyone have any questions about those two things? Okay, perfect. And I'm going to tell you where that comes into play in just a second. So we're going to talk about how to grow your business page followers. So one of the biggest obstacles that people face when they generate their business page is how to get all of their 1,000 followers from their personal side to come and follow their business side. That's a lot of the feedback I get from agents when they're like, well, I have this Facebook page that's my personal. I do post business stuff, which is a huge no-no, but they say I post business stuff. I have so many followers and friends and family and all these connections. I don't want to lose out on them by having to generate an entirely new page or a totally new profile. So I'm going to tell you guys how to overcome that. So the first thing you want to do is create stories, which I'm going to teach you how to do that today. So stories are trending on Instagram and Facebook. You want to utilize them when inviting followers from your personal page to your business page. So this is really important. Stories are 24-hour movies that you create on your Instagram and Facebook portals. So it could be as simple as a photograph, it could be a video, it could be anything that you can imagine, which we're going to go over those options today. But the reason you want to utilize stories is because they're quick, people tune into them, they're really trending right now. People are going going at night and sitting down on the couch and watching all the stories from the day. So you want to make sure to utilize stories to get people over to your business page. So post stories on your personal page announcing your new business page. I recommend doing this 3 times a week for the first month that your new business page is active. So on your personal side, you're going to post stories that get people to come and follow your business page. So you're going to tag your business page on the story and then reshare it on your business page story as well. So on Instagram, when you tag somebody in a story, it's going to alert them that they were tagged, and they have the option to share that story on their page. So you're going to do it just to yourself. So from your personal side, you're going to tag your business. It's going to alert your business page that you were tagged in a story. Would you like to add it to your story? Yes. Now it's on both sides and you're getting all eyeballs on it, which is really going to help you grow that engagement from your personal side. Also, I recommend utilizing selfies, your logo, company name, maybe you have a motto or a slogan or anything that identifies your business and these types of stories. So as I mentioned to you, my little name for my business is Sale by Victoria. That's my real estate business. So I branded myself that way. So whenever I'm posting on my personal side to get people over to Sale by Victoria, I'm tagging that business page, I'm utilizing that hashtag, and as much as I can, I'm using the logo that I created for my business as well as my own face. In this industry, we pretty much our own branding tool. So taking pictures of yourself, pictures at work, pictures with clients, stuff like that is really engaging, and it's going to get people to continuously follow and also go over to your business side. If you post a lot of boring stuff where it's just text, it's not really going to be very captivating, and it's probably not going to tell the new followers that there's much to go look at on your business page. So I always recommend keeping it fun, keeping it lighthearted, and trying to utilize yourself and logos. And then finally, keep these stories fun and entertaining for a better chance of engagement and retaining your audience. So I just kind of touched on that. Okay, then there's also going to be static posts. So I've told you to use stories to get engagement from your personal to professional side. And now we're going to talk about static posts. Static posts are regular posts that everyone posts all day, every day. They're just something that goes into your news feed and you can go back and see what you've posted. So we call this the news feed. So these are posts that remain as a permanent post within your profile. So I recommend having these being very aesthetically pleasing, so it shows your professionalism and branding. This is a big one. If you guys are really new to creating any kind of graphic, definitely take a chance, get comfortable with it, maybe throw a couple out there and see, get some feedback from your friends and family. If any of you guys have young kids in the house that are pretty tech savvy or graphic savvy, have them take a look at what you're creating. I do recommend that once you kind of get momentum, really educate yourself on how to make posts really well done. You don't want to post too much that looks really clip arty or really choppy, because you want people to know that you're professional, you know what you're doing, and it's branding your business. So it's really important for the aesthetic look to be professional. And then also, you can create this type of post and then create a story utilizing the same graphic. It's like a 2-for-1. So when you create a graphic to post, it's going to, most likely you're going to save it to your phone or your desktop. You can then utilize that same graphic in a story, and you can add stuff on top of it to make it fun, which I'm going to teach you today. Also, be sure to follow proper guidelines for online promotion via CAR and NAR for these posts, which is California Association of Realtors and National Association of Realtors. So here is what they say. They say in all of your promotional information and content, you should always capitalize the word realtor, full caps, utilizing the trademark R, and be sure that your DRE number is not the smallest font size. So these are the guidelines. These are really, really important. I definitely encourage everyone to follow these, because it's just important that we're listening to these rules. And also, we want to make sure that we're showing everyone else that we know what we're doing. So we don't want to come across as amateurs. We want to come across as professionals who really know how we're allowed to generate content promotional ads. So once again, capitalizing the word realtor, every letter, utilizing the trademark R, and
where do you find that trademark R?
Great question, Wendy. Where do you find that trademark R? Well, for those of you that are not very savvy, it's actually as simple as Googling trademark R, and you can copy it and paste it into your information. Now, for those of you that actually are a little savvy and maybe comfortable learning something new, on your keyboard, as long as the keyboard has the numbers on the right-hand side, not just on the top, but as long as it has the numbers on the right-hand side, you can hold down the Alt button on your keyboard and press these numbers, 0, 1, 7, 4. So holding down Alt clicking 0174, that is a keyboard shortcut to generate that trademark R. And let me tell you, once you get comfortable with it and once you find out this really works, you're gonna love it because you get to use it as a quick shortcut for every time you're trying to utilize that in all of your promos. But once again, for those of you that don't really want to learn that keyboard trick, you can always just go into Google, type in trademark R. When it pops up, you can copy it and paste it into whatever you're creating. Thank you for the question, Wendy. That's a really cool tip for you guys. Finally, caption these with a call to action. So your caption are the words that you post with your graphic. So basically, I would recommend doing something like this. Comment below if you have already followed me, or comment your business name and we can follow for a follow. So a lot of the time in the world of social media, if you follow someone, the courtesy thing is for them to follow you back. If someone follows you, the courtesy thing is to follow them back. So I'll tell you this, typically what I do is follow everybody. And then if I ever see any content come across that I think is not good to be professionally associated with them, or it's not good for my branding, or I'm just uncomfortable with that content, I'll go unfollow them and maybe even take the next step of blocking them. So you can either do it that way or a little less gambly, if you will. You could suss out who they are as they're adding you. So if someone adds you that you don't know, go check out their profile, go check out their content. If you don't feel like following them, then you don't. But the cool thing about a call to action caption is, like I said, you can have people comment below if they followed you, or you can have them comment their business name and you can do a follow for a follow. This is great for your branding. It's great for networking. And honestly, it really just helps you get the audience members that you're looking for. Okay, before we move on, does anyone have any questions about how to get followers from your personal page to your business page? Perfect. Okay, what I'm going to go into now is a little bit more involved. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit and I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail. So we're going to talk about how you create a story on Instagram. Okay, so first things first, as I mentioned, the app is the #1 tool to use for Instagram, especially when you want to create a story. It's in the palm of your hand. You can take picture, video, everything right there in the moment. Spontaneous organic content is always going to be the #1 content you want to generate because people are going to want to tune in. It's fun and it's real life. So when you log in, as I showed you before, you're going to be on your app, on your smartphone, on your business page. So from here, this is what you're going to see. Now, I've blacked out some people's information to protect their identity, but on the very top, you're going to see bubbles of all the stories that you follow. And then underneath that, you're going to see the news feed of everyone that you follow. So the most recent post from the most recent person. So that's what you're going to see. Now, the next little section here I'm showing you is I've circled my profile photo, which appears on the top left-hand side, and there's a little blue circle with a white plus button inside of it. If this appears, it means you have not created an active story for that day. And once again, stories expire within 24 hours. So the next day, that's going to appear again if you've done one the day before. So if this appears, it means that you have not started a story, and you can simply click on that to begin a story. If you don't see that there and you do have an active story, if you click on your face, you're going to be watching your own story. So instead, you can utilize the plus button, and this icon allows you to create something. So it's going to have a drop-down menu that says, do you want to create a story? Do you want to create a post? Do you want to create a reel? Or do you want to go live? And you're going to select story. Now, this is the inside of my office. So when you select story, your camera is going to automatically pop up. It's going to either be selfie mode or it's going to be shooting out mode. The bottom right-hand corner, you'll notice, has a little camera icon with some arrows creating a circle that turns your camera around. So if you notice it's on selfie mode, and you're like, oh, I wanted to take a picture of my clients at this house that I just sold them, just simply click that. It'll turn the camera around. A lot of you are going to be familiar with this feature. On all of our phones, we do have this, so it shouldn't be too irregular. So that's what you're going to use there. To take a photograph, you're going to simply tap this white circle, and it snaps a pic. Boom, on the left-hand side, this is what's going to look like. So now it's a blank photo and I have menu options that have appeared at the top. They're little icons and they all mean something. So maybe I want to do something fun to this photo so that I can get more engagement and it's not just a boring photo. And maybe there's something I want to tell my audience about this particular photo. So what you can do, I'm going to tell you all the options that you can utilize within stories. So we're going to start with the sticker option because it's my favorite and I typically start there when I make stories. So the sticker option, you're going to notice a little little rounded square with a smiley face in it. The sticker icon is going to open up options to add stickers, GIFs, music in the background. You can ask a question to your audience, take a poll from your audience, and see what other options are trending by scrolling down. What you'll notice when you first see the screen, if you scroll, whatever's happening in our current times is going to be there. So during vaccination time, there's a lot of vaccine stuff. If there's anything political going on, a lot of political stuff also appears here. So just, you know, it's kind of nice and handy if you are posting something related to that, but just so you know, that's what you're going to see as default, is whatever's trending in the moment right now. Now on the left-hand side, I'm going to show you your other options. Next to the sticker are 3 stars. It's like a star cluster. When you click on this, it's going to add moving effects to your image or change the way the image appears completely. Some of these options stick things on faces. So if this is a picture of a person or a selfie of yourself, it's going to stick stars on your face, hearts on your face. It does some stuff specific to like a portrait mode, but other stuff just changes the way the photo looks in general. And it's actually really, really cool option. So I recommend playing around with this. And the way that you find more options, on the bottom, you just scroll to the left. So you can check all of them out, and there's a lot there. So you could just keep scrolling and seeing all the things that it will do to change your image. The next one, which I do recommend this for a lot of people. So your phone defaults to organizing your photographs into folders. Every phone does this, whether you're Android or iPhone. So what you can do if you ever want to, if you created something that you genuinely want to save to your phone and not just have it be specific to Instagram, then you can actually click the download button, which is a downward arrow with a line underneath it. This will save to your phone's gallery, and it actually should also designate it into a folder labeled Instagram, which is super helpful. If you ever want to repost it or share it with someone else or send it to a friend, you can save it to your phone and you'll always have it. And then the final thing I want to show you is, let's say you took this photo and you're like, this is not what I wanted to do at all. I need to start all over again. The top left-hand corner has an X. This allows you to discard the photo and start from scratch. Okay, so now we're done. Let's say we've made this picture amazing. We've got a GIF on it. We have a kitten. We have sparklers. We got fireworks. We got hashtags. We are done with it. It's ready to go live. The thing that you're going to do is simply tap on the bottom left-hand side to post to your stories as it's labeled. Now, I will say, the linking of your accounts, this is where this comes in handy. If you've linked your Facebook business page to your Instagram business page, then when you post a story on Instagram, it's going to automatically post to Facebook. This is a huge benefit because you want this story to appear in both sides. You want all audience members to see it. You want all engagement possible. So because you've linked them, it's going to post in both places. That takes extra steps away from you. If you haven't linked them and you don't want to, you can download it to your phone, open up your Facebook business side and add a story and utilize the most recent thing in your gallery is going to be what you've just created in Instagram and send it off. So it's as simple as tapping your finger and off it goes. Okay, guys, so I hit everything I needed to hit. I'm way ahead of schedule, which is actually kind of fun because we're going to do something. I did have a little extracurricular stuff that I had in my mind in case we got done early, so we are going to do something extra. But before we do that, I just want to ask, does anyone have any questions? Does everyone understand exactly the benefits to linking your accounts? Do you need any more guidance on linking them? And does anyone else have any questions about stories? Is there anything in the chat, Maggie?
No, there's nothing on the chat.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we are going to do one extracurricular thing. Can I use your phone?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to use Wendy's phone because mine is being occupied for my camera. All right. I am now logged in on the TCAOR Instagram. For those of you that don't know, I and Wendy both handle the social media for the TCAOR page. So we are going to create a story together, and I'm actually going to put it on a highlight and show you what highlights are. Maggie really wanted me to teach this. I wasn't sure if I was going to have time, but I do. So this is exciting. Okay, so I've logged in. Hopefully you guys can see this. I've logged in as TCAOR on the Instagram app on Wendy's smartphone. So again, this is my feed. These are all the people that TCAOR follows. These are all the posts. We can totally engage with them. We can comment, like, share, whatever we want to do. But right now we're going to post a story. So you'll notice there is no small blue circle with a plus button on my story because I actually did create a story on TCAOR today. So we're going to use the plus button at the top as I taught you guys. It's going to automatically default to, do you want to make a post? We're going to scroll over on the bottom to story. Boom. Now it's going to pull up the camera. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, so now you guys are seeing the camera on the phone, just like that. So as I taught you guys, if you want to snap a quick pic, you're going to just tap on the white circle. Boom, I've just taken a picture of our room. So now I'm going to utilize all the icons at the top to do some fun stuff. So let's play around. Let's jump on the sticker and let's type in work. It is literally only limited to your imagination. So anything that you can think of, it's going to pull it up as a sticker. So I'm seeing a couple emojis here, but I really want to do the GIFs. Those are the little moving images. So let's go ahead and do these 3 work texts together. So it's appearing in the center of my screen. If I want to manipulate this, I can use my 2 fingers to drag it around, also change the size and change the angle. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it with my 2 fingers. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and I'm going to stick it toward the bottom of my screen. I think that looks pretty good. Perfect. Now it's going to keep going over and over again until I post it. So we're going to let it sit there and we're going to do something else. Let's say I wanted to add the hashtag TCAOR because right now I'm posting to TCAOR and it would be great for my branding to go ahead and promote my own hashtag. So in order to add text, there's 2 options. I can click on the top right-hand corner where there is a capitalized A and a lowercase a, or I can simply tap on the screen and it will pull up my keyboard to start texting. So I went ahead and just tapped on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and type in hashtag TCAOR. It might even populate on the bottom of your screen for anything that you've recently used. Done, just like that. Now, I really want this to stand out a little bit more than just regular white text. So let's see what it would look like if I put a filter on this. On the top of the screen, you're going to notice a color wheel and then 2 letter A's inside rounded squares with options. So first, let's change the color of this text. TCAOR's colors are blue and white and green and yellow, but we're going to go with blue. So I'm going to change the text to the color blue. It still kind of needs some more pizzazz. So if I now click on that center letter A, it's actually going to add a background to the letter. It's going to stand out more and it looks pretty good. But now let's say I want to have the text maybe move. Maybe I don't want it to just be stagnant. I can select the third A and change the way it appears. Maybe I want it to appear like it's just typing. That looks good. I'm going to say done. Now, if I ever want to go back in to edit that text, I simply click on it and I'm back into the workflow. Also, you'll notice when you click back in, there's a way that you can change the font, which also changes the background of the text, which is a really great way to keep things fun and utilize all the different features of the story. So I'm actually going to change this text font to the very first one. So now the very first one, just a little bit of a different look. Done. I'm going to go ahead and make TCAOR bigger. I'm going to put it to the top left-hand side of my screen. That looks good. Now let's say I want to add a quick filter to this photo. So I'm going to swipe on my screen from left to right, and it's going to change all the different options for a filter. You'll also notice that they're labeled by cities in the world, which is pretty cool. So if you find your favorite one, you can always remember, I love Abu Dhabi, or I love Buenos Aires, and you can always just look for that. So I'm going to choose, one of my favorite ones is Los Angeles. I'm going to choose Los Angeles. So now I'm done editing. I've put a filter on this photo. I've added a GIF that says work, work, work. And I've added a hashtag that says TCAOR, and it's also moving. I've utilized its fun filter effects. So now what I can do is I can decide to download this and I can post it later. Or if I want, I can go ahead and post it straight to the Facebook and Instagram pages. So let's do it. Boom. And now it's sent off and it's a live story. So now that it's done becoming live, I can add this to a highlight. Highlights are on your profile. If you actually go to the bottom right-hand corner where your little, your profile picture is, you click on that, it takes you to your profile. Highlights allow you to have stories not expire. So you can add stories to certain categories and have them as highlights, and then they never go away, which is really fun. And it's a really great way to keep all the fun stories that you've made active and live for people to see. So for TCAOR, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up that story that I just created. Oh, we have a couple on here. So I'm going to open up that story I just created. On the bottom right-hand side, you're going to notice there's a little circle with a heart in it, and it says the word highlight. This allows you to add it to a highlight. So when I click that, it's going to ask me, which highlight do you want to add this to? We've created multiple for the TCAOR page. Of course, it's helping us stay engaging and educating all of our members to tell them what's going on. So because I already have highlights that exist, I'm going to scroll through and see which one I think would be fun. I'm just going to put it on YPN. I'll probably delete it later because it doesn't really make any sense, but just to show you guys. So now if I want to go watch that story that I just created inside my highlights, I simply click on the bubble of the highlight I assigned it to. It's going to take me through all the already stories highlighted that I've created. And if I just tap through, there it is. I see what I've just created. It's now live and it's going to be a highlight and it will not expire until I delete it. So that was just a quick extra tidbit for you guys. I know there's a lot that we talked about today and there's a lot to learn. So I definitely don't want to overwhelm you. Of course, if you ever need extra help, I'm available. My information is on the screen right now as Wendy is sharing it. So I can always walk you through this further one-on-one, whatever you guys need. But I just wanted to make sure today that we talked about sharing other agents' posts on the MLS, talking about connecting your Instagram and Facebook, making sure all the information is up to date on the new business page Facebook update that it gave us, and then also showing you how to post a story and add it to a highlight. So does anyone else have any questions before we wrap this up? Anything in the chat? I can't.
Hey, you.
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. Awesome.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was a little late. Is it easier to do the Facebook business page?
Oh,
Or the-
okay. This one's available. The other one's leased.
Sorry, Marcus, can you say that one more time?
Sorry, I was a little late. Is it easier to do the Facebook business page before you do the Instagram?
That's a great question. To be honest, I would say that most people are more comfortable with Facebook. So maybe starting with Facebook might ease you into it a little bit. But for me personally, I utilize Instagram to generate all of my stories that hit Facebook. I don't use Facebook to generate the story. So if you're comfortable more like that, I would say go Instagram first, set that up, then go create Facebook and link it. But if you are more comfortable navigating Facebook, start there, get all that set up, and then go to Instagram. It's really a personal preference. There's no true strategy to that.
Thank you.
Of course. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, if anyone wants those guidelines from MLS or even the CAR attorney ones, you guys can always reach out to me or reach out to Wendy and we can send them over to you. We just want to make sure. We do see a lot of agents posting other agents' listings. Of course, I always recommend don't do it on your personal side, do it on your business page. But for those of you that are doing that, just make sure you follow those guidelines. So we're giving proper notice and proper allocation to whose listings it really is, and we're just following the rules. So if anyone has any further questions on all that, you're welcome to reach out to me or to Wendy.